everybody. I'm doing a session for Lush today. Lush, thank you so much for the opportunity to connect with you. Thank you for sharing here on YouTube. All right, we've got some awesome goals ahead of us. Lush is my Friday person, so every Friday I've gotten to do sessions for Lush for a while, and so we have something to look forward to. I am so excited about these goals. Okay, so you guys, the previous session I did with Lush was the one with Mother Earth and Gaia. It was so awesome. If you never got to see it, I'm putting a link in the description. You really should consider checking that out. And today we're going to be visiting a group of beings called the Founders. I have never heard of these beings. My gosh, I'm already getting pulled into this journey. I'm just going to read this word for word. For the next session, can we do a healing style session with a group of beings called the Founders? A healing style session. All right, Lush. Let's see what the Founders want to share with you today. I can't explain it, but there's a lot of energy going on, and it's really impacting my heart. So let me just relax here. They're really busy. And that's not, they're too busy to talk to us, not that kind of busy. They have infinite time, but they're really hard at work right now on something. And there's constantly a commotion of voices, constantly going back and forth. And I mean, it's like, as I see doing. They're hard at work, and they're hard at a consensus of conversation and what they're creating, crafting, building, doing, okay? It feels like the world today, and it feels like they have certain angles or certain ways that they are involved in events in the globe, to be honest. I can't keep up with these guys. I'm gonna have to slow down time, and we're gonna have to go into a time room that works with my schedule. Because I can't do infinite time at Speedy Gonzalez pace. Like, I can't do it. So I need things to go way slower so we can talk. I'm actually going to slow them, the living daylights, down, and they're going to come into my time room. They tell me they already did this session. So I need to go to the time room they created where I go and talk to them. No. I say, well, that must be the time room I created. They're getting irritated with me. What is this word, the Furies? Is that like a Greek thing? Like they had spirits, like the spirit of the tornado, the spirit of the hurricane. Maybe those were defined as like Furies, because these Founders are like, they're very much so like catastrophic energies, like the energy of wrath. They literally remind me of the goodness of destruction, okay? If you can understand that. When the volcano erupts and it destroys the landscape, what comes from that? The fire that burns down huge quantities of forest and kills all these animals, and what good comes from that, right? So much good. And so they really represent to me the goodness of the calamity, okay? Vibrationally. And they're really fast, really fast. Like, they're like electrical pulses that are going to turn into an explosion of lightning and thunder and huge cracks that make it sound like the earth is going to break into. That's what they're like to me. So I'm just... These beings are infinite. They can just stop time just like I can, and they can alter their energy patterns just like I can. Everybody can do this. They could even send multitude versions of themselves in to do this while they're doing that, while they're doing a bajillion other things. What I find interesting is they're making this difficult, and I don't know why. All right, they want me to go back to how I defined them as busy with the earth today, and what does that mean? As furies. And what does that have to do with you, Lush? Okay. The word fury. I feel like they're cleaning up a mess. What if the volcanic eruption, this sounds strange because, like for instance, a fire that burns down the forest. What if the forest was the mess that needed to be incinerated so that it could become the fertilizer to grow the birth of something new, right? The volcano that destroys all of this so that there's new growth. And it brings new balance and ways to the planet that we can't even fathom how good that is, right? The tornado that destroys people's lives even is actually cleaning up the mess. That might be very offensive to anybody whose life has been destroyed by a tornado and even lost family members. But what if on some level that's what it was defined as? What if what's going on in the world today is there's a lot of mess that needs to be dealt with in a very strong and wrathful fury kind of way? And then what does that have to do with you, Lush? Why? The founders are representing this, okay? So we're gonna have to go with this. They're wanting to show me the next thing. They are so clever and so perceptive and so wise. You cannot outsmart them, and you cannot out-time them. Okay? It's almost laughable that I'm trying to. Yo, you go to my time room. No, you go to my time room. I guess I have to be their little puppet. I don't know. You're my puppets. No. Okay. All right, let's see here. I'm starting to understand. I'm telling you what, Lush, this is about, I think, things, so many things. And it's going to be present day media level stuff. It's going to be global impact stuff. It's going to be like COVID, freedom of speech level stuff. I swear February is a huge month for this. I mean, huge. Everybody is involved in this, a big collective thing. Even the founders are involved in this, okay? They're showing me that, just hear me out, okay? It's just simply an idea. This literally what they're saying to me in this way. They're showing me they planted the seed. Doesn't matter how the seed came to be and where it was created, if it was earthborn or man-made or whatever, but the seed is called COVID, okay? And they plant the seed of COVID into the human race, and they see that the wrath or the volcanic eruption or the fire is now coming from within the human body. And that is growing like a weed. Within one human becomes two, becomes the whole globe is impacted by this seed. The founders planted the seed into the human race. You could say, no human beings did it, or it was born from the founders did it, okay? They're really, you can't outwit them, you can't outrun them. They know what they're doing because they really understand time. They're like timekeepers. They're like earth keepers. They're like human race keepers. They know what the heck they're doing. You don't know what you're doing. They know what they're doing. That's vibrationally what they're like. They're that profoundly strong in what they are, okay? Now, this is giving every single human being on the planet an edge. Because the seed was planted, we are all given freedom. We are all given freedom. They're showing me that the seed has been planted. It actually gives everybody freedom. But they're here to allow us to decide how we're going to deal with this mess. So the idea is we are going to reduce the concept, we're going to create the illusion of a loss of freedom, which now is becoming so prevalent we actually believe we've lost our freedoms. But the founders are saying, but the seed has still been planted and time is still ticking away. And what we do to break down a solid structure is we plant a seed within that solid structure and let it rot from the inside out. And they start to laugh about this. Almost like this is really fun to watch the scurrying of the rats of the human race run and hide and scurry and come up with whatever. It's like the 10 Commandments. Like, you need to live as Jesus taught us. And if you aren't living as Jesus taught us, or as whatever the religion of goodness, okay, or the voice of some Christ conscious, whichever religion it's coming from, right, or belief system. We all know what that is. The word integrity has like been a really loud one for me. But for those who are living with integrity, let's just see what happens here. What kind of seeds are they going to plant? To offshoot, to pull the weeds out, or the weeds going to overgrow. You say no matter what, it's like the fury, the tornado, the volcanic eruption, the fire that burns the forest down, the waste will be removed. And this is the beginning of the removal of a lot of waste. We are afraid that the waste has been decided that anybody of integrity is going to be removed, and then the weeds will remain overrun around the planet. But you have to give some faith to the divine events that we have no control over, so to speak. To let them do some of that work too. The founders do some of the work. But we also have to do some of the work. Because what are human beings known for? We're called viruses. We're furies ourselves. We destroy things. We take more than what can be ever given. You know, I don't necessarily believe human beings are like that. I believe in influences like that. And then I believe that we're subliminally influenced to think that we're like that, and then we just behave like that because that's just the way we are. I don't think so. We have the freedom of choice, and we can behave with dignity, and we can behave with a different caliber. We choose to either behave with that caliber or we do not behave with that caliber. All right, this is going to get dicey because their founders are talking to me about what is the waste. So the human beings remove what waste? So we plant the seeds of COVID. The COVID is the fury, okay? But now it's the fury that awakens the human being to become the next fury. Not the tornado, not the fire, not the volcanic eruption, but the human becomes the next fury. So what's the human fury? How is the human fury cleaning up the waste? And what is defined as the waste here? If you, Lush, want to work with the founders, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at you work with the founders and what does that mean exactly? Because we're talking about really big umbrella concepts that have a lot of debates, okay? And a lot of emotions on one side of the fence or another side of the fence, and chaos is being born right before our eyes. And what are we doing about it, okay? So the fury, the founders. Now, what in the world? Let's take it down to the micro, from the macro to the micro. Little old Lush here. What does this have to do with you? There you are in my time room, you founders. You're coming into my room. Actually, they really are like Not gonna give me that or something. All right, where can we meet that we both can agree on? Because I don't know why, but I can't go into your time room because you can't go into my time room. If you can't go into my time room, I can't go into your time room. So where are we going to meet? Maybe this is part of the issue. Maybe this is also part of the message, right? Hey, if you're not going to do what I say, then I'm not going to do what you say. So whatever. We got to come to some sort of middle ground here. Isn't that something? Doesn't that somehow apply to the world today? Okay, let's see. They're laughing. They do have a sense of humor. They don't want to be thought of as overly aggressive. They want to be thought of as they know. Okay, I had this conversation with myself earlier. Sometimes I hold on to, we all do on some level, I hold on to the way I want to believe things are. And I can give you the examples about the spirit realm and some of the things that I'm choosing to let go of. I'm telling you, it's profound stuff. It has to do with dark parts of myself, like parts of myself that got lost in the dark, that I go into the dark to help, to heal them, to find them. But I have to let them go. Because I have to move on from that place, and they're going to have to find their own way in their own time, because all I can do is divinely what I can do. Now, this had to do with some of my friends, other souls that I have met in these dark times of my life, in dark places, right? That mean the world to me and are extremely benevolent, also working in dark places. If I leave those dark places to go to a higher vibrational space where I'm choosing to go, because I'm still going to be filtering through that. If I completely let it go, it feels like I'm letting go of all my friends and family, and I'm leaving them to rot in a gross, dodgy, nasty place. And like I can never talk to those friends again because I'm never going to meet them in that space. So whoever their spirit is at a higher dimensional plane is going to be different than the friends that I made, okay? And so I made this decision to move on from all of that and just let that weight just go. There's nothing else that I need to do, and I need to let them take responsibility for their own path, and I'm going to take responsibility for my path in a new way, okay? Now I have to remember why it was so important for me to tell you guys this story, because it has to do with these founders and what they represent. I can't remember. Gosh darn it, it's completely erased from my memory. Yeah, I was meant to tell you guys that for some reason. Let me get back to the energy that might help prompt me of my memory and where I'm at and all this. Starting to realize that they know. I'm starting to remember why I told you that story, because I said to myself that I want to live. I didn't want to let go of some of my friends that were in those dark places, because some part of me believes that I don't know how to explain it exactly. Like, I want to hold on to what I believed, because I feel like a worse person turning my back, and it's all none of it, it's all an illusion anyway. So why do I feel like a bad person for turning my back on something that was actually the right thing to do for me to grow? And they should be celebrating and supporting me at that, but I don't want them to, because I feel like the bad person. So there's these weird belief systems that we hold on to, that we don't realize that we're not being a bad person by actually going the next step, or striding beyond, or growing beyond everybody and everything that, in every place that we were in before. That we have to start to get out of these dark places and get to much brighter places. They are the reality that you don't want to acknowledge as the truth. The founders are the reality that you don't want to admit is the truth. So if they were to be the building blocks of everything that is real, then everything that is an illusion, they will help you to see it. And when you see the illusion and start to wake up to the reality, it's going to make you feel weird. It's going to make you feel weird because you don't choose to live in the reality that's actually real. A lot of us, even myself, because that's part of being human, we live in more facades of a reality than we live in the actual reality. And it's hard to work on self-realization and being able to see those facades. The founders will help you to see them. They will help you, and it's going to be like a spear. It's called awakening. People seem to think that they just want to awaken, but they have no idea that part of awakening is facing hell. And you didn't even know it was there. You didn't even know it. And then you also have to adjust your body to this adaptation to digesting energy differently, being able to see it with open eyes, and then having the courage and the strength to have a clue what to do with what you're seeing and allow yourself to acknowledge the truth about it, because even that you want to lie to yourself about, you know? Founders, it's like the reason why I ran into them as a fury is because they remind us that the volcano is a bad, scary thing, that COVID is a bad, scary thing, but they're the truth bearers. The truth that forest was the trash that needed to be taken out is a really jacked up way of putting it, isn't it? Because we don't see trees as trash. But when the fire burns the trees down, they are the food for the earth, and the earth was starving for those trees to become that nourishment right then and there to grow the new seeds. And that was beautiful. No matter how many animals died in order to accomplish that, that was beautiful. And that's what these founders are. They will speak the truth to you in ways that are going to be almost offensive. Like, that is an offensive truth. Well, is it the truth? Yeah. So get your offensiveness out of the way. Wake up to reality. Stop being a big baby about it. Okay, so that's reality. Kind of weird. And they were like, what are we if we are not in reality completely and utterly? We're just like commercialized, superficial, lost in these daydreams, lost in where, I don't know, like on the stream of some sort of like subliminal message that we want to hold on to because it makes us feel safer than living in the flipping truth. You know what I mean? The founders, it's like on and on and on. All right, so now that I'm choosing to respect them, apparently I didn't respect them. I was challenging them. All right, so the energy is like, okay, I respect you now. I don't want to go in your stupid time room, though. You're going into my time room. I'm not bending for you. And they're kind of laughing again because they're like, this is literally what you're dealing with when it comes to the structure of the human race. You're going to have human beings that even if they respect you will still not change. And they still won't bend the stick. They still will have too much pride. So what will rattle and shake the cage? What will do it? In order to bring the human race back to reality, we needed an event, a seed to be planted, an event to bring the human race back to reality. Back to reality. What reality? Because there's definitely, you can't deny, there's definitely this concept of you plant the seed, you give it the right sunlight and water, that seed grows into the flower or the tree or the whatever. And it's almost like documented right on down to the scientific time and quantities in order to create that, okay, achievement. Same goes. There's rules that apply that we can say whatever we want about. We can sugarcoat it, we can put the rose-colored glasses on, we can do whatever, but the rules still apply. And it's like the rule of the law of one still applies. You can do whatever shady thing you want and keep living in your weird fantasies and your weird dreams, but there's still laws to the universe and rules to the way our universe works, and what the ways that the human being works in harmony with its environment, the way the environment works in harmony with itself. And the human race has got to be brought back to harmony through events that are going to feel like the Fury, okay? The spirit of the Furies. But the founders are working in time and with today's event. So Lush, what does this have to do with you? It's almost like you were called to bring this out of the woodwork for us. But I'm to do healing for you, and I want to do that. So I'm going to get over myself and go to their time room so I can heal Lush. It's not about me. Okay, here we go. All right, I actually ascended from that level and I got to the next level because I chose to let go of something that I was really firm that I wasn't going to do it. And it was pretty funny, honestly. I couldn't stop laughing about it. But there's a part of this is part of the message, that this is part of, it's like showing us how we grow, we let go. There's something, when you figure this out, what the founders straight up Lush say, okay, founders, I'm starting to get an idea through Abby's way, or I mean, I'm sure you've heard a lot about the founders in your own way and may be curious about it. This is how I experience them, so this is my experience. And what's coming to me is totally welcome these guys in. I'm welcoming these guys in. I'm all about, I want to live in reality. I want to see it clearly. To awaken is to see reality for what it is and feel safe with that. So many weird illusions and subliminal messages cause us to forget how to intuitively or instinctively just be in reality. And so show me reality, founders. I'm letting you rumble right on through me and I'm not afraid. Show me reality. And there's going to be things you're going to have to let go of that are going to feel wrong. It's going to challenge you. It might even make you feel like a bad person. But you can't ever, if you know what you're called to do in your heart, then you need to do that. Because if you're not doing that, because if you were to do that, then this is going to affect other people's lives. So that must not be the right choice. You're holding yourself back. It is the right choice. And then when you live in that choice and then you feel bad for making that choice because you had to let go of this and that, and then people thought less of you or whatever, is that really your responsibility? It's your responsibility to continue to follow your heart until you're guided to the next thing. These founders are asking you to work on following your heart and figure out how to do that. Get on it. Like, let's go. Speedy Gonzalez style. Time to work with your heart. It's time to work with your heart. And it's time to do what your heart is guiding you to do, even if you have no idea how to do that. Accomplish that, get to that place, be that person. And so then you work through whatever comes back. But they're saying, the echoes that come back, so you're getting the founders are helping you to know what your heart is asking you to do is going to fulfill your life. Might not fulfill you for today or next week or next year, but it will fulfill you for your life, to where you get to a point in life and look back and say, my gosh, I can't even believe what an amazing person I am. It took so much finagling, but I got there. That's following your heart. Learning so much along the way. They're going to help you follow your heart. Letting go, right? I had to let go of the time room thing. It was like an important part of this message. So now we're in another dimensional space, and this space is actually creepy. You need to feel safe. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. If you were to, this is going to be very creepy, okay? you're going to turn out the lights and you're going to hold a candle and just sit next to a mirror and look at your face in the mirror. If there's anything creepy that comes to you about that experience, good. Because what they're going to ask you to do is start cleaning the bats out of your cave. And the bats are going to be anything that creeps you out about the spirit realm and what you can't interpret or what you feel might be there that might have power over you, something like this. Because you're going to have to start cleaning the bats out of your cave to develop the awareness of your own personal power. Because it's quite clear, Lush, that you're called to work between the spirit realm and the human world. You're meant to. There's definitely very loudly a calling here for you. We all can be meant to do this, but it's so ridiculously loud, it's undeniable. And it feels like you're there with it. You're there with it. And maybe you needed this development, with these founders to challenge you. Maybe you need a forced scenario, like you can't control the tornado or the hurricane when it wants to show up. You're going to have to endure it. So when these founders show up, right, they might act like the sudden COVID that we're all dealing with and how it's affecting everybody, right? They can come in as the tornado or the fire, right? But they're here to burn away, to remove all of the trash that is built up inside yourself, which is all the false belief systems and illusions and subliminal messages and crap that's built up. And that is going to be uncomfortable. It is going to be derailing because you just simply have to face it and let it go. But you're going to have to learn the communication between the spirit realm and the human world because you're dealing with more than just the human crap. Like, some souls come here to do the human experience and they aren't ready to go in between the human and the spirit realm. Then some souls come here to challenge themselves to be in both worlds at the same time. And they can do it or they can't do it. So they just lean towards being human because they just want to work with what they can interpret in their mind and they don't want to deal with any of the spiritual stuff. And so if you're wanting to deal with this spiritual stuff and this human stuff, then you got to give into that guidance. You got to give into that calling, okay? You have to. Otherwise, you're just going to live your life and then wonder how it might have been different if you would have given into that calling. I mean, that's okay too, right? You can live your life however you want. To live that profound life where you're saying, wow, look at me go. I can't believe I figured this out. I can't believe all this awareness that came to me. I can't believe everything I finagled my way through to get to this point, right? That's the kind of life that is triumphant. That's the kind of life that makes an impact in you, in your soul, and all the lifetimes in the past and the future will feel that. They'll be impacted by that. The choices you make today will impact all of the lifetimes you will ever live and ever have lived. It's crazy, but yes. So the stronger you are in this life, the stronger all of yourselves will ever be. And then you just continue to go to the next challenging timeline and the next challenging timeline because they just keep getting more complex because you're continuing to build in your experiences, you know? So let's see what else about these founders. I love them. I loved them so much. I did not know what to make of any of this at the start, but they are looking out for us like you wouldn't believe, and they know the truth. They know the flippin' truth, and they know what reality is. And they understand that we can't conceive of it because so much buildup. They're there to burn away the trash. They're there to burn away the trash and help you to be exposed to reality, which is a process. You got to walk across that bridge to get to the other side, okay? Anything else, founders? They want you to know that you are powerful in and of yourself, Lush. So they're here to help you as friends and family, but you got to do some of the work. Like, We can't just live in the daydream that, oh, I hope I get to do this one day in my life, or I get to be this person, or maybe one day I'll get to really understand this, and then just boom, you wake up in the morning and it all makes sense now. You have to get your hands dirty. You're gonna have to do some actions and put yourself into some scenarios, okay? Finally coming through the woodwork. You're finally standing here with us. You do have a lot of weight that you still are working on letting go. And say, help me to gain the awareness and the thoughts or the epiphanies I need to truly understand what I need to understand, because there's a really loud part of me that I am so ready to let all of this go, but if I haven't let it go yet, that means there's some part of me that doesn't know how to. And I want to live in the reality of my greatest strength and divine truth. I want to let this go. I'm going to choose to see the founders are on the threads of those things that you have aspects of you that are still holding on to it. What they do is they actually go into your muscles tissues, specifically your muscle tissues. And they start with things that we don't really understand. Like when it comes to letting go, we think of letting go as letting go of a heavy memory or letting go of an old habit. But this is actually cleaning out dead cells in the muscle tissue. This is like literally where reality starts for you, Lush. It's like with the founders, it's like, they're in your muscle tissues and they're cleaning out old dead cell memories. I mean, that's what it's like. And they're all smiling and happy, but they show me that cleaning can be a wonderful, comfortable experience, or it can be a painful one. So let's say you have a wound. When they get into the wound, you're gonna feel it and it's gonna burn, but they're cleaning it out so that it can finally heal, so you can be that much stronger. But when it's just some dust that's collected, not really gonna hurt to clean that. It's just going to take a little bit of effort to clean it up. But they say that cleaning is a gentle experience and it is a painful experience, but both are the same. Both are cleaning, okay? And they're going to start by helping you to feel clean in any wounds or any just dusty places. And it starts from within your muscle tissues. And it's up to you, Lush, to say, I am ready, not for Abby to say it for you or to find the Lush that's choosing it. It's for you to say it for yourself, okay? Because they're really strict about that. I mean, they are stricter than the Arcturians about that. I swear to God, Arcturians, like, ask us for help, we will help you. Otherwise, we can't help you. Arcturians are like that. This guy, which is like a bunch of freaking busybodies and like this profound energy essence of strength and reality about the human race and time and all this stuff. They're like, it will come from you. And we will even help to strengthen your statement of it, if you would like. And the stronger you state it from more parts of you tied to reality, the more they'll be able to help you. Otherwise, they're going to start with the basics of cleaning you out. Like, all right, let's say that Lush, let's say there's 100 parts of you. And let's say one of these is living in reality and 99 are living in versions of an illusionary reality that's kind of close but not quite there, okay? And now all of the 100 of you say, okay, the founders ready to work with you now. Founders is going to go to the one that's in reality. And then maybe like 2% and of like the energy from this one of the 99, and then 10% of the energy of this one of the 99, and so how these other yous are able to express it from the heart of reality within themselves is how much they're able to seep in there. But they're going to be able to impact and influence to help to expand all of these yous to truly clear the veil and the fog from the third eye and the mind, so that you can be strongly balanced in the divine truth and in the reality where the founders are in reality, okay? So it's going to come from you. It already has, obviously, in the goals, but it's going to, now that you've heard all of this stuff, they want to get you to the next level of you're going to say it through this awareness now, through the lens of this awareness now, so that way it can be stated on a different profound level. And then the next time you state it, it's going to be stated even louder and even more effectively than the last 2 times. And then the next time you say it's going to be even more effective. So you see how you're letting more and more of their support in. I'm so curious about this. I want to explore this in my own life. Thank you very much, Lush. This has been phenomenal. And I guarantee everybody who watches this is going to be like, dang, that is like a really good session. I mean, I'm telling you, nobody can deny it. This was a really good session. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I wish you all have a wonderful day. Take care.